and discourse. We are involved together in the same walks, and not only now, but we have for generations been involved in defense of our country. So for us it is continuation. And dealing with the angle that you have given really is a challenge, and I'm glad to be part of that challenge in terms of educating our people from a different angle that we know. So,
bless you. Well, next brother, Patriot, show the people.
Good evening to the people of St. Martin. It's always a blessing to be here in your midst and getting more involved deeply spiritually. I'm a spiritual man, but I must admit, in being in your company, I'm a little ant compared to the knowledge you have and the experiences you have passed through spiritually. And I always like to broaden my horizon and broaden my spiritual knowledge, which is real knowledge to live life in a very wise manner.
Well, blessings for that, Patriot, but let's give the glory to the Most High, who is God and Creator over us all, for He ordained us to be what we are today. We are not working for us. We are not even talking about ourselves. We are dealing with nation building in regard to what He proposed for us to do and follow into His path. So tonight again, we would say it's Word, Song and Power on 101.5 La Voix FM, Radio St.Martin. We're here tonight with 4 mean words that are plaguing St. Martin and are plaguing our people. And we would love for them to go in depth with us tonight by the grace of the Most High, and by also accompanied by His angels and His eyewitnesses. So we're going to deep into the matters and to see what type of people are we. Whether we are people that are really, as we would use the word, proud of ourselves, or whether we are people who need to question our behaviors, or who need to rethink about the way how we are living, the way how we exercise our rights, the way how we allow things to happen to us and don't dare respond to matters. Well, we're going to get in depth with it. Why we are fearing people, then we're going to get into that a little later, but for now we're going to ask ourselves, who teaches us in St. Martin? Who preach to us in St. Martin? Who feeds us in St. Martin? Who heals us in St. Martin? Who gives us job in St. Martin? And many, many more. The brethren here sitting with me would be able to elaborate on these issues and these matters, and we would go in depth and see what type of characteristic people are we? Are we ready for this struggle? Are we ready for the mission? Are we ready for the plan action that are put in place that are before us? Are we engaged? Are we playing? Are we gesturing? Are we idling? All these things we're going to know here tonight. Are we also laboring we mouth without having anything done? We're going to know exactly here tonight. Are we a consuming people? Or are we a conservative people? The word is that we is a consuming people. Where does our food come from? Where does our teachings come from? Where does our education come from? Where does our spirituality come from? Where does our jobs come from? Where does our diplomas come from? If I look at the situation today, nothing's come from us. What comes from us is a presence of an individual. Then, are we a fearful people? I would say yes, we is a fearful people. We kind, we gentle, we loving, but we very fearful. We afraid to engage. We afraid to get involved. We afraid to make an agree. Let's say then to get involved into something that is constructive. We afraid to say no to something that is not good for us. then if we such a fearful people, we are confused. And if we are confused, we don't know what to choose. We don't know when to act. We don't know what to do. We even don't know what is the matter. What is the realities before us? Are we in doubt? Yes, it is facts that we are in doubt. Because he is who is confused is in doubt. Are we ignorant? Yes, we are ignorant people, for a person must be cultivated, constructed upon all levels, standard, pertaining to his liberty, pertaining to his spirituality, pertaining to the everyday liberty that is around him, political, educational, spiritual, scientific, medicinal. We must be aware of it. We must be able to answer to questions. We must be able to let's say, get into matters and help others. Having these four words plaguing us, we are people that are being tied down. So, with my two colleagues, we're going to go into matters and we're going to see how we can liberate ourselves, how we can get out of these situations. Why I speak in this matter is because in analyzing 600 teachers from foreign teaching us, if they are teaching us, then it's a great value, it's a great, I'd say it's a gift for that country or those countries who get the approval to teach us. It's an honor. And they should feel like angels, for they are being treated as angels when they get the offer. We also is in a situation where our spirituality don't come from us in majority. It comes from people who come from foreign also. So it was summoned by God to help us, to teach us, to edify us. Are we pleased with it? We were supposed also to sustain ourselves at least 20, 30 or 40% of our food, eating, agriculture, garden, livestock, fishery, etc. Are we? No. In the law, the situation, over 500 youths are no longer in the country with their family to be educated, to be guided, to be instructed, to be molded, to be shaped, and prepare for the future. They are incarcerated in a foreign land with no help, no support, and the families just have to keep fearful, doubtful, questioning, don't know what to do, don't know who to turn to. Resulted into what? So tonight, with word, song, and power, we're going to go in depth into what's plaguing us. What's the disease that are surrounding us? So with the table set and the platform is ready, I would ask my brother who has to give a little input. Bless him.
Yeah, what I can say is the four words that you choose is they basically complement each other, and it says much. What fear does is it's an inhibitor, meaning it limits, it dampens the spirit, it dampens the will to walk, because you fear that something might go wrong, that might not go in a direction that we want. to go, or maybe it puts into question the right direction. So in other words, if we want to build our nation, because we fear, we think it's not possible. If they teach us that what you got to do is depend on them, and when you learn or when you think that you should be doing it for yourself, you become fearful because you think, I didn't say you can't, you think you can do it. So the fear basically breaks the spirit. The fear basically keeps us back. So fear in itself is a dangerous emotion to deal with. If you make a man fearful, then you controls him. If you make the collective consciousness of a people fearful, then you keep them back, and this is the destructive power of fear. And our nation, our works is clearly inhibited by fear, because even if truth hit the people, even if truth hit the person, they doubt.
Sure.
They feel that they can't do it. And if you teach a man that you have a problem, I gonna take care of it for you, you is basically teaching that man to doubt, to be fearful that he cannot do it on his own. And these are some of the destructive power, and they complement each other in greatly then. So if you become fearful, then there is a doubt that you can do. And when you get that doubt, then you run into confusion. And the ignorant part of it is that you feel you don't know, you don't care, you don't question the reality, so you become ignorant to many things that you can do. So I would say, taking it from this angle, basically in terms of the way you take the program, really says much, and that it is clearly there are elements that goes beyond knowing what is hurting us, and which is what we do in the other programs. But today, I mean, and as it's treated on these sessions, it goes to the core. It goes to what makes you and or breaks you. And so I think, yes, the ground is set for a rather deep discussion.
If you look at the angle in which we are bringing this argument, it's like a therapy to our people, because we are making them aware of certain things that it's right here by them, but they are not seeing it, being busy with the system, being occupied with the bills, being hectic with the situation around them, children's, school and medication and all these things. It's a complete destabilization daily, every day, day by day.
Right.
So
I would take the example of the way it is dampening, it is creating a fear, hence a doubt in our ability. You take the young person, that teenager and young adult today, they are more encouraged. A young lady, and at least in our generation, a young lady look for a husband to take care of her, build her family. And today the teaching is, without being spoken, the teaching is you want money, you get a child. You don't need a man. And then what they do, you don't need a husband. And what they do, as a consequence, I hand you a house. And I put money in your hand. And how would you and how could you, how would you help that person understand, because that person is not, that young person who would be a responsible adult tomorrow, would be fearful if you tell them you have to be industrious. You have to build yourself. And the basis of independence is when you depend on you. And when you depend on someone else controls you, and the system controls us. And this is not only an example about the young. We could touch on 1,000 examples and many different aspects, whether it is young or old, where the system controls you simply by putting money in your hand. So you don't have that initiative in you to be industrious, to be independent. That's what it is.
Okay, then when the money is in your hand, you're no longer fearful. It momentarily it shies away. You're no longer, you would say, confused. You're no longer in doubt. And apparently you're no longer ignorant. All of a sudden you're wise. You're conscious because you have this money in your hand. But the money don't last more than a week. And when the money goes, the same reality come back. So the situation is just how do you move a people like that? How do you get to bring back a people like that to reality? Let's go, Patriot. Let me hear what you guys say.
One thing which is very important is that for a country to really develop, the people have to learn about themselves first. Unfortunately, being that we are in a French system and Dutch system, we are indoctrinated to think like a European instead of fostering who we are as a people. So basically, when people come back, they come in with a European mentality or a French mentality, and they don't see that for you as a St. Martin person and a grassroots person to help your people, you have to be strong, fearless in yourself to promote what you are and what you stand for, and teach it to your people so you can embolden and educate them to bring the best out in them, so they can understand they can be more self-reliant, that they don't have to rely on the European to help them. And the way to do that is that we have to start thinking more, in St. Martin words, are more patriotic or nationalistic. For too long, we always depended on France or Holland to prepare a path for us, which is usually not in our best interest, which is usually in their interest. So, and therefore, they are educating us to think like they. But we have to be educated to find ourselves, to do what is best for ourselves and our people. So, what is happening? We're getting a clash of cultures. They are indoctrinating you, and they are putting fear in you to tell you if you do it your way, if you hold on to your values, there are going to be consequences because we don't agree with that. Now, that is not development. That is destruction. Development is to make people fearless so they can find themselves to do what is best in their interest for their people. Now, for instance, right now in St. Martin, we have a lot of subjects going on, which is not our values. Many people are afraid to take a stand for that moral cause, which is our value, what we believe in, because of fear that the system will suppress them. That is not progress. That is demotivating. When you know yourself as a human being, and you know what you stand for, you will be fearless in defending and promoting what you know is right for the best interest of your people. When you start to get in that level, then you are becoming more self-reliant, having the sustainability to find your path and the best path of life that are going to benefit you and your cause and your people. Then you become fearless, because when the fear is taken away, hopes come. When hopes come, confidence comes. When confidence comes, doubt is gone.
But then in order for fear to go in a situation where it don't build its nest, it has to be brought back against the wall. Mean to say, it has to face a chaotic situation. And if the human being have to wait until chaos struck for them to awake, very few chances left that any soul be saved. So I think a consciousness is a person who are living and a person who are real in their self, because you can also be a man living real and still slipping out of consciousness because of fear.
That is definitely.
You see what I mean?
Of course.
And fear don't stabilize the situation. It activates chaotic situations around it. Mean to say destruction appear, destruction take hold of the areas, and then people begin to doubt who is capable of handling the matter. Now we're in a situation here, back against the wall, with a moral issue.
That's right.
Concerning the gay marriage. Now, there is a law that has been voted against whoever dare oppose the gay marriage in government. There's a penalty also, and there's a sanction, and there is a consequence. Mean to say, you go to jail, you get a fine, or you lose your job. So it's a three-way go. Now, in order for that person to prove their spiritual values today, it's a let happen something. Now, what happens in that phase is that your stand, your moral standard, your values, the things you live for, the bravery that you support, because it's in that stand that you would liberate yourself, not in the other, is now shadowed, not individually or personally. It's a national issue. Now the longer and the more we prolong in it, is the more it grows, the bigger it's gonna get, the more visible you're gonna begin to see it happening. Now my topic is not based on this tonight, but it's just to show you the fear that has injected into our society. The doubts, because those of us as politicians, as true Christians, as we would say, we have Mohammedans in the place, you have Judo-Coptics in the place, you have also Orthodox in the place, you have Jehovah, you have many denominations is actually now questioning themselves. And there is not room for questioning yourself on that issue. There is room for you to be firm, convinced about the matter long ago, because you knew it would come. You read about it, it was publicized, it was preached to you, it was taught to you, you had it as a principle never to go there from your parents, you didn't see your family or your nation go there. Suddenly, you are questioning every bit of your life around you. Who in this world could have such nature, such power on us, mentally, physically, and our everyday living? We must give an account that it's an evil force.
It is, but knowledge is power, you know. The same system we live in that is promoting it, it also has two sides. We live in a democracy. Democracy is also free speech. We have to take the context of the law, and we have to use it wisely for our behalf. So we have to use it that if you say democracy is freedom of speech, then I have the right, my freedom of speech, to oppose anything I think that affects me. The question is, are you fair to use the law against the law? Are you submissive and giving into it? So this is the way I look at it. You study the situation, look at the pros and cons, look where the law, the present system allows you to counter-attack that very suppressive system to enhance your benefit. But if we refuse, or we are in doubt of ourselves, or we are fear to tackle the problem, we only will go on a deeper abyss. But I truly believe God gave man wisdom, and He gave man understanding that if he have the courage to take the stand, God will give him a path to counter-attack it successfully.
Yeah, I think fear, particularly fear and doubt, go very close. Are very closely related. You see, what fear does, it creates a certain amount of emotions that make you feel like whatever. If you go in a wrong direction, it's a dangerous situation. Something bad is likely to happen. When in reality, most of the time, that is not true. But if you wear that emotion, then doubt takes over. And I think it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt that is the one that said, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. So we should be afraid of the word fear or the emotion that is fear. And that it is an inhibitor. That is what is fear. It inhibits you. And once it inhibits you, which means it holds you back. And if you cannot find the strength to beat it back, go against it, and sometimes when you dare do it, you find out really it was not difficult at all.
True,
and that is what is happening. Our leaders feel that if we do this, the Lord will come at us. And then when in reality, if we do it, we find out we become leader of everyone else who was in fear. So the biggest bitter is that emotion that is fear, and it is not one that fights, it is one that is just there. It is an imaginary emotion that holds us back in until we learn to fight fear. That is a message to our leader. And sometimes we have a problem at work or at home or whatever, and we're afraid to deal with it. And when you don't deal with it, the next thing that fear causes, it makes the situation worse. It doesn't get better. So if that fear comes in, you begin to doubt everything. Should I go forward? No, sir. Should I deal with the issue? I probably not, because this might get out of hand. When in reality, you face up to that guy, he buckles, that Mr. Man or that bad man that is fear. Once you face up there, he bows out and he go in a corner.
No, you, I must tell you, put it properly good, you dress the table properly good. Now, let's go to this situation here now, whereby God himself talked to his people. And in talking to his people, he talked in this manner. Now I'm going to talk to preachers, I'm going to talk to church people, I'm going to talk to those who are spiritual, I'm going to talk to those also who are called by confirmation of faith. The Almighty called all believers to watch upon the 7 sacraments. For within the sacraments is no presence of fear, of doubt, of being confused and being ignorant, because it is the demonstrate of ultimate faith, grounded by the power of the everlasting Almighty Father, God of all the creation.